welcome back to This Week in Lacrosse 2009, first edition. My name is Gary Mark, and this is Ron Messer. Ron, Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year, bud. Back again for another season. Just want to say a little bit, some of our new intro music there is supplied by a local band called 1 Second Too Late. Thanks a lot, guys. Looking forward to working with you guys a little more in the future.
Yeah, and that's going to be our intro for this year,
yep.
So I hope everybody out there likes it, and if they don't, they're going to have to get used to it.
Good.
I like it, and you like it.
Good Canadian lacrosse loving talent. There
Absolutely. So our first show of 2009, and the league starts tomorrow night with 3 games on tap. And tonight we're going to break this up into 2 segments. We're going to talk about the East. We're going to talk about the West. We're going to go team by team. We'll talk a little bit about each team, some of the moves they've made, and then you and I, similar to what we did last year, we're going to give a few of our fearless predictions of teams that we feel might show up and surprise, and then who we believe are going to be in the final and who we think will win the final. I guess last year neither one of us had Buffalo.
No.
So we weren't close, but as I said at the start of last year, we reserved the right to change our picks, and I don't think even then we picked Buffalo, did we?
No, we didn't. You know, that's a nice thing about the National Lacrosse League, Gary, in that the last 3 seasons that I know of have been right down to the last day to decide who went where and whatever. And because of just the way that pro lacrosse is in North America now, you've got guys jumping teams and drafts, and we unfortunately had a team drop out of the league, and so that's put a balance of power another way. So hey, it's great for the fans. I know that. I know that people in New York were not too happy about seeing Chicago go under because they didn't talk about it too much, but you can be sure that they love this any team, any day kind of thing that's starting to happen. Yeah,
and that was the first thing I wanted to touch on. I mean, we got a new team this year in Boston, and we lost a team in Chicago. You know, as we said last year, it was a dog's breakfast week in and week out. And I know each week we went on the air, we were saying about, you know, who was going to beat who, and we had no idea. And I foresee that happening again this year.
Yeah, you know, I went out with them last year and I said I didn't think Minnesota was that good, and I based that on an exhibition game I saw them play against the Rock here in Oshawa, and I kind of got a little bit crucified by the fans. But you know, there's front running fools. There's people that come out of the pack at the mid mark, or all of a sudden the last 4 games they put together this big run into the hottest team in the league. So who knows? That's what makes it great, man.
Yeah, and I will say too, I mean, the fact that we didn't pick Buffalo, but both of us all year were stating about how Buffalo was doing so well with the injuries that they had, and they got a lot of those players back at playoff time, and they made the run, and I mean, the videos are on the site. I went down the last 3 weeks, the 3 playoff weeks to Buffalo. Absolute insanity. It was so much fun. As we're sitting here tonight, I still don't know. I'm trying to get into the game tomorrow night, the home opener for them tomorrow against Philly. I don't know if I'll be there or not, but if not, you and I both will be watching the game free on NLL.com, which is another nice thing this year.
Free streaming, thanks a lot down in New York there for doing that for everybody. I don't know if that's going to be the norm every week, but for sure tomorrow night you're going to be able to take your pick of Portland, Minnesota, Philadelphia, Buffalo, or Toronto Rock, and the New York Titans from, of all places, Sunrise, Florida. A move by the league to introduce the game to the southern states, but also you and I know from some of the people we know inside New York, Gary, that Madison Square Garden is an extremely expensive venue. Their remaining home games are going to be split between there and New Jersey. Please excuse me, I forgot the name of the arena in the swamp there somewhere. I think it's the same one the Devils play in. But and once again, they take advantage of the fact there's a lot of lacrosse played in New Jersey. So, good move.
Yeah, and I mean, for the free games on NLL.com, that's a godsend.
Yeah, I'll be watching.
I'm sure there's a TV contract this year, so we're going to see a lot of games on TV as well. But and I have read, apparently, that it is going to be a weekly thing. You'll be able to pick from your choice of games and watch who you want to watch. So for those that can't make it out to the games, you're going to have the opportunity to watch the games on NLL.com. And I think it's great. I think it's going to expose the sport even more, and,
that's terrific.
And hopefully we'll get more fans out.
You know, as of we're sitting here right now, a couple of days before the beginning of the season, I still haven't received and/or been made aware of any of the speaking locally, folks, Toronto Rock games on Sportsnet. I know there's a few coming up. Once again, the Chicago thing dropping out. I believe one of the games was going to be against the Shamrocks on TV, so they had to modify it again. Last year was a total disaster with the impending strike, and then the Jimmy Veltman game being bumped off of TV by a Raptors playoff game. you know, I feel for the Rock in their want to bring the game to the people of Ontario so they can get a bigger fan base, and let's hope there's no more curves thrown at them like that. Terry Workman's doing a heck of a job down there for Brad Waters and the ownership, and you know, keep up the good work, kid.
And that was something league-wide last year. I mean, with that pending strike, well, supposed strike, and it was right down the 11th hour they were striking, all those TV deals got canceled.
Yeah.
So the fact that I think, what was it, 2 games shown last year in Toronto?
Yeah, 2 or 3 games, that was it.
You know, we were lucky to get that. You know, so this year, you know, they know they're playing, so hopefully there's a few more games on in all the cities.
Yeah, you know, in the Rocks' defense, they don't have games on cable TV here. They are on the national carrier Sportsnet here in Canada. The likes of Colorado and some of the other teams I've been reading about have regional contracts with cable TV companies that make them a little easier to manipulate their schedule to get them on.
Sure.
Or they do in Minnesota's case, but we're going to find out here, is their game is tape delayed 24 hours so the fans can watch it the next day. But we don't have that luxury on Sportsnet because it is a really full schedule. They've got sponsors that they've got to satisfy, so that's what happened last year. But let's hope we get a full Rock schedule so we can see all the teams this year.
Right. So the plan for tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to break this up into 2 or 3 10-minute segments to try to keep it low time-wise. Let the people out there watch what they want, what we talk about and such. So the first segment we're just discussing here, the changes and everything like that. We're going to try to keep that to 10 minutes. The last 2 segments, so we're going to go to the Eastern Division and the Western Division and talk about each individual team and who we see. With all the changes, there's been a number of trades, a number of signings, and then of course with Chicago having a dispersal draft, all of those players going out to the various teams. The one thing I just wanted to touch on before we get into those 2 divisions, though, the move from Minnesota from the Eastern Division, with Chicago going under now and Boston coming in, you've now got Buffalo, New York, Philly, Rochester, Toronto, and Boston in the Eastern Division. Minnesota moves over to the Western Division.
Yeah. What
do you see there? Just before we won't discuss, specifics there, but Minnesota going into that Western Division.
Well, you got a pretty strong team in San Jose. You got another strong team in Portland. But Minnesota was a darn good team last year. I look for them to do very well in the West, Gary. With the exception of like San Jose. San Jose was good last year. They were kind of hot and cold.
Yeah.
But who knows what difference a year can make. Minnesota, I think, will do very well in the West.
And I agree. I think it's a change moving them over to the Western Division. Personally, I think the Eastern Division is a tougher division. Not to say they're better teams, but I think it's a tougher division in the East than it is in the West. And Minnesota, as you said, is a darn good team going into that Western Division. I think they're going to do well as well.
Yeah, and that's got a lot to do with the fan base too. You know, I don't care who you are. You can be a mediocre player and play in front of 20,000 people, and that makes you a heck of a lot better.
Oh, absolutely.
Than a little bit of the kind of sinking feeling, and you trot out and the floor is only 4,000 or 5,000 people in the seats, and you go, oh man, it really pumps you up. So that's got a lot to do with it as well.
When you can play out in the NLL and look up in the stands and see your mother and father, then something's wrong. Because you're not supposed to be able to see them. You're supposed to be able to see a sea of fans and have no idea where your family is. So we're going to take a quick break here, and then we'll get right back into the Eastern and the Western Division team by team.